Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I've got this 8-Ball Deluxe in here, limited edition. It's pretty nice. The cabinet's like pristine. So the guy that I got this from, he said his dad had bought it brand new. And I kind of questioned him a little bit. I said, "Man, they're like, so you're saying this is a home use only?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Man, that was." People always say that, and it's usually never true. He's like, "I'm gonna call my dad." So he got on the phone right then. He called his dad. He called his dad, and his dad, because I was saying, like, how did your dad know somebody that had a pinball route or an arcade or something? So anyway, he called his dad. His dad, it was not actually brand new. He had bought it from a guy that had an arcade, but he had bought it in the year this thing was released. And it was almost new. It was like, I don't know, a month or 2 or 3 or something like that. So it's almost brand new when he bought it. The guy didn't, he said, "Yeah, come down and get whatever you want." And his dad came and picked this one. The guy's like, "I don't really want to sell you that one. It's probably because it's killing it. Anyway, so this guy is, I don't know, 35, 40 maybe. So his dad bought it back in the day, and it's in here. The fluorescent light has been burned up, and somebody has done these LEDs. I'm not really too keen on that. I have opened this up. It's got some replacement boards. It's got a replacement MPU and a replacement solenoid driver board. Looks like all these boards are original caps on the Squawk and Talk. Yeah, everything looks like, I can't see any work that's been done on any of these boards. Haven't opened up the cabinet yet. I don't know if it boots. It had been sitting in a warehouse. I just wiped down these legs with some spray away all-purpose cleaner. Got some new leg levelers. I'm gonna throw them on here, and I'm gonna stand this game up and start measuring voltages and see what we've got. Okay, so I got the glass off. You see the Playfield. It's kind of dirty, a little crocodiling, but I don't see any wear marks to speak of. Well, that wire's popped out. I was like, there's a hole. That one's a little bit loose, maybe. The rubbers are pretty toasty. Oh, the flippers. Huh. Zip tied. This game's just not much fun if you can't shoot the drop targets over here and drain your ball. That's the whole point of the whole game, is you shoot here and then drain. That's the name of this game. Drop targets are looking kind of tired. Oh, they've got those ivory skirts, which I hate. That means I'm definitely going to swap those out because I hate those things. I mean, I hate them. But the playfield looks nice. Like I say, it's got a little ball swirl and stuff. I think that'll all come out. The plastics, they're not even really yellowed much. That's cracked a little bit there. Might talk to him to see if he wants to put a plastic set on here. They're probably a couple $100 or real near that. I think that's the only one that's broken. The rest of them are actually pretty. They're not really even very yellowed. They're a little yellow, but not too bad. Yeah, it's a close call. It's such a nice game. You might want to do that. I don't know. If it's my game, I might fix that. I don't know. And the drop targets are just kind of, yeah, they're on that too is pretty tired because it gets whacked all the time. These are actually not that bad. And the 8, nobody ever hits the 8. And they're not yellow, they're still white, which is kind of crazy. So this hasn't seen a whole lot of light. The posts they're wax filled, but otherwise they're looking pretty decent. Anyway, let's open this thing up and see what that nonsense is all about. Let me shut this. Oh, we got hangage. We got a coil hanging here. Yeah, that's the flipper right there. So, yeah, the whole mech is kind of, or a big part of it's gone. The coil stop, the plunger, the switch, and the stroke switch. This one may not have an end of stroke switch because it's an upper flipper. I don't know. I don't see any extra wires, so it may not have one. I have to look. I don't think it does, probably. But man, it's clean underneath here. It's a good sign. A lot of garbage down the bottom. So somebody has swapped the rubbers. And somebody likes Swisher Sweets. Yeah, they like the Wild Rush Swisher Sweets and the regular ones. Let's see what else we got in here. One Day AccuMoist contact cleaner. And a nut driver and a rag that I can't reach. And a manual, which is kind of nice. That'd be the ballast and the starter for the missing bulb in the back glass. So that's still there. This all looks pretty unmolested, I would say. It doesn't look like anybody's worked on it. Some of these fuse holders are absolutely burned up and dirty, nasty looking. I mean, they should all be shiny like that. And these, you see that? It's not. It's black. Those could definitely stand some work. Fortunately, the later model Classic Valley rectifier boards are a lot easier to get out of the game than the earlier ones, because you know all the connectors they unplug, and so you take this board out and put it on the bench and rework it pretty easily. I might just go ahead and plug it in and see what happens. I mean, maybe, heck, it might work. God didn't necessarily, I don't think he knew if it worked or not, and I certainly don't know. Maybe I'll yeah, I probably should unplug something. Maybe I'll go through this. I'm just going to go ahead and I don't want to waste the time. I'm just going to go through the MPU board and start there. And I was going to say I'd just leave unplug the outputs of this, check this, but I'm going to go through it anyway. So there's no point. It's just a waste of time. So I'm going to just pull this this rectifier board off and probably at least replace these fuse holders and look at the solder joints in the back of the board. So on first glance on this board, everything looks okay. Solder joints look very nice. Follows with a very low hours game. Hasn't been left on for years of play. So probably should have turned it on just to see if I had all my voltages. If I did, I wouldn't have to check everything. But I'll check the diodes and the rectifiers and the resistors real quick and make sure they're all good. And I'm going to swap out these 3 pairs of fuse holders. All right, I'll start with the diodes. So the banded goes to the negative side. 0.5, that's good. 0.5, 0.5. And these rectifiers, this is the back side, they're just for diodes. So you put the negative on the positive and the other one to the AC. And you're getting 0.5 and 0.5, and then put the positive to the negative and the other to the AC. So those are good. Put it on horseshoe mode and see what it says. 600 ohms. Yeah, 600 ohms printed right on there. 25, and it says 25 right on there. Oh, here's some more diodes. I can't hardly tell which side's banded. Well, I'll figure it out, or I won't. I don't know the size of that resistor. Let's just see if it's got some resistance. 100K, that seems like a pretty normal, reasonable value for a rectifier board. All right, so that all looks pretty reasonable. So I'm going to just desolder these 3. And I'm going to mark them real quick so I don't desolder the wrong ones. So it's this one, and then those 2. And I've got my soldering iron up really hot because it's going to take some heat to get these things off of here. So much pad material. Oh, I didn't take the fuse out. So the other side's holding it. Well, shoot. Whew. It's always amazing when I grab the bottom side of a part and it's burning hot. There we go. So I am going to pull this other fuse so it can fall out a little easier. Could use a slightly bigger iron for doing stuff like this. My iron barely keeps up. It needs a little bit of a break in between just to kind of catch up. Well, you can't fix stupid. I was working on that one. Now I went to this one. The reason it wouldn't come out is because it's got a fuse. So I was desoldering the wrong one. So, yeah. I had a buddy I used to work with at UT. He was do something really stupid. He's like, you can't run from that DNA. It was one of those moments. There we go. So now, let's see if I can get this soldered back in there. Now it's flat, so my soldering iron won't really bridge both of them. I may have to desolder it first. Which is, yeah, I've made a mess here. It's about 5,000 degrees too. There we go. Yeah, if you ever want to learn to solder, these old Valley boards, especially a power supply, they are like, you can't hardly mess them up. You see how rough I'm being with this board. They're almost indestructible. Good boards to practice on and makes mistakes on. Got it jammed up a little bit. Too much solder in one time. I have broken one of these trying to clear it, so I'm kind of trying to be a little bit gentle with it. There we go. All right, turn my iron back down now, off scalding mode. Now you can really see how sorry these were. They're just burnt up. See what size that is. That's 15, I believe. Let's put it right there. Uh-oh, somebody's coming to the door. Dogs are going nuts. Going to get tacked in, then I'll saw through the other two, and then I'll come back to these, and then if it's still too hot though, it'll fall out. So okay, I'll do that twice more, and this will be ready to go back in the game. So I finished with the fuses, and I was just checking to see. Oh, I got that one in a little crooked. Maybe I'll fix that. Just see if they were all the right sizes. The 5 had a 10, the 4 had a 5, so I'm putting the 4 or the 5 into the 5 where the 4 was, and I'm going to get a 10 there. Before I do that, I'm going to straighten this one up a little bit because it's a little cattywampus. If I can get the whole thing heated up at once. I don't know if I did it or not. Not really. I didn't get it heated up to the other side. That's going to take a lot of heat. There, I got it that time. Felt it move. Whoops. Hot, 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 hot. Even with a rag, it was hot. Looks a little better. Okay, so I'll get a 4 amp, put it in there, and I'm ready to put this back in the game. Get the rectifier board back in there. I noticed this fuse, not sure what it goes to. There's no fuse in it. Found this in the bottom of the cabinet. It was in that bag of stuff. I just measured it. The coil is good. It's been somebody's cut the diodes, so somebody was monkeying around. And then there's this nonsense here. This little add-on. Maybe this is going up to the wires in the head. Maybe it's tapped into the 12 volts. Maybe, I don't know. I don't. So, I wonder, maybe this is, it's all bundled up here. I bet this is the fuse probably for the ballast. So maybe the ballast works. The starter's gone. I don't know. I have no idea where this, it's a little bitty one. I was thinking maybe it's one of those. It's about the same size for the coils, because each one of those coils can pull itself down. So maybe it's one of those, but they're all in there. Maybe somebody swapped one out. I don't know. Have to get in the game, see what's not working. Maybe it doesn't even belong in this game, but it probably does. I'll leave it right there for now. Tempted to just turn it on and see what's going on. I feel decent about the power supply. So, and there wasn't anything wrong with it, so it's probably going to boot up. Well, yeah, because I got a good solenoid driver board and I got a good MPU, or presumably good. They've been replaced. So I'm gonna plug it in, see what happens. Okay, so it's plugged in. No grounding plug, but we fire it up. I hear some sounds clicking. Sounds like it's working. Yeah, it's booted up. Got all the displays, and had those LEDs. They look like they're not all working. They're all working in real life. Let's go through the. If I get the door open here. Shoot. In limbo here. There we go. Okay. So most of the lights are working. Lamps, I should say. Well, a bunch are not in the back box. Actually, those bulbs are looking pretty shady. Let's go try the next one. I think the displays are good. I never saw pop bumpers, and I never saw the 8, and I don't think I heard the coil, and it goes through these twice. I don't know about that. Get the manual and look. Well, I haven't done anything. I haven't turned the game off or anything. I've just been running, and I got it open in the manual. It's not supposed to go through those twice, and it's not doing it anymore. So now it's doing the sling. It's going through the. Well, now this time it is doing those again. So 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9 should be like the pop bumpers. But in between, when y'all weren't watching, it did do the pop bumpers, and I haven't done anything. So it's like intermittently doing the wrong stuff, which is really weird. Well, I think I do. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. A temporary fix. So, MPU board tells this board what to do, and it's got, oh yeah, I see. Somebody's Jimmy jawed 2 connectors instead of 1. So basically there's 4 or 5 wires. I just missed that connector there, and now it's working. So that is a case of, and again, I forget if it's 4 or 5 wires that are either high or low that go into this connector here. Based on each one of these, say, let's say it's 4 wires. Let's say that's 0, 0, 0, 1. So low, 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 high on those 4 wires. If that last wire is not connected, that would be 0, 0, 0. It would show up as 0, 0, 0, 0, which might be one of these over here instead of 0, 0, 0, 1. So when you get things that are firing in the wrong place, wrong time, it's usually this connector here, bottom left, or where it comes in to your solenoid driver board here, because this one is the one that actually fires them. So the digital signals come in here, they go to the decoder chips, which are real tiny on this board here, and they fire these transistors. More often than not, it's this one. Even though this has got a new board, it's probably got the old connect. I see. So somebody, oh, there's a wire that's hanging off. It just fell off in my hand. So it's not even, yeah. So that connector there is going to have to be redone. I was going to say it's usually this connector, because even though it's got a new board, it hasn't not been repinned, I'm betting. And the old board, the reason it's gone is because the battery, I can't get this thing off. It's like, my gosh. Okay. Oh, the pins are awful. Let me zoom in. If I can get it to focus for you. I guess you can see all that green there. Hopefully there's no, yeah, there is. There's green on the, it's starting to get on the header pins of this brand new board. I bet that one's the same way. So yeah, I'm gonna have to repin this thing, which this thing is a pain, this head. So I've got this came jacked up in the air a little bit, but it's really high. So I'm gonna have to repin at least this one and that one. Ah, geez, it's probably this one too. It should not, it's chemically fused on there. Yeah, you see all that nasty green on there? Let's see if I can get it to focus in on these pins. You can see the black lines on there where it's starting to, especially that one there in the R59, see like corrosion that's growing there? I tell people it's like cancer because it's like cancer. If you leave a little bit left, it'll keep growing. And it's on this. So probably the whole, probably this one too, which this one really sucks because it's like, you know, it's like, no, this one at least it's coming off easy, so maybe not that one. But anyway, this one, for whatever reason, this is the least likely one to have any problems with. But in that one there, I mean, the battery on the old board would have been at the bottom, and it eats along the border. So the bottom right and the bottom left are the worst too, always. Now this board, the lamp board, it's not below. Normally this lamp board would be located below this one, so this one gets dripped upon, but it's clean because it's not in the way. So anyway, so I got some repinning in my future, which really kind of sucks because I don't really like doing that. I don't know if we heard any sounds. Did we hear any sounds? I don't remember hearing any sounds. I think it's supposed to talk. Let's fire this dude up again. I think when it boots, it's supposed to make some sounds. I hear some.
8 Ball Deluxe, 5 Ball. 8 Ball Deluxe, 5 Ball.
I don't think it made those sounds before, and that could be an issue. It's not getting the commands to make those sounds. So it could, I'm trying to, I don't know for sure if this board is driven directly from the MPU or if it gets its sounds from the driver board. I think it's driven directly from the MPU. I'll have to look. If it comes from the driver board, then it could be the same issue as we had there, where it's getting the wrong signal, so it can't make the sounds. I'm gonna look real. Well, I just took a shortcut here and disconnected all the outputs from the solenoid driver board and rebooted the game, and it made sounds again. So this thing is driven. The commands coming into it are directly from the MPU. So I think it's from this same connector down here. So that's probably the reason why it didn't make sounds at first. And when I adjusted it, I started getting the solenoids firing correctly down here, and I started getting the sounds up here. So the soundboard is working. It's got all the original caps from what, 1981 or something, whatever it is. Probably recap that. I believe this guy said he wanted to LED it. Yeah, he does. So I'll be putting a new LED board in here, LED capable lamp board in here. Once I do that, then I'll start swapping bulbs, and well, I won't have to worry about this board. This aux lamp driver board, I think, let me go through, let's go through the solenoid test one more time. Oh, I've got the switches all disconnected and the solenoid driver board. Well, let's not do that. So what do we want to start with next? Probably need to start with repinning, my favorite thing. So I'll probably do a couple of these because I don't like to do them all at one time because it breaks my back. So I'll start with this one here because it's easy to get to and it's nasty. So I got the first connector done. Got my plug in there. Now that I got this out, you can really, I got a light here, you really see how nasty. And again, that is not the surface that matters, but it indicates what those look like in there, and y'all can't really see, but I can, and it's disgusting in there. There's no way. I had to clean off those header pins with some alcohol and a brass brush just to get the corrosion off of it. Yeah, now I've got a flashlight here. You can really see there's still, you have to clean that one a little bit more. Anyway, I'm gonna stop that. My back is tired from doing that. Oh, good news. This pin from the top, it's nice and shiny, so nothing on those header pins. This one down, my gosh, it's disgusting. And this one, it looks like it has been repinned. I don't know exactly where this one goes here, and we're gonna have to look at schematics, but the header, I think, no, that's just the wires. But it's, that's gonna have to be shortened up considerably. It's just eating the wires up. So anyway, in the meantime, I think I'm gonna figure out what's going on with all this nonsense. See if that wire, yeah, that's that white wire there, that's the same one I saw tapped in there. So that's probably 12 volt unregulated, I'm betting. I'm gonna turn the game on and see if that is. So I measured the voltage across those two right there, which I think is common to all of them. It's 6 volts AC, so it's that's fine. The issue is, well, it's kind of a mess. And secondly, these things are like, it's hard for y'all to probably tell, but they're not bright at all. I mean, you could tell they're on looking at them, but I don't think they're going to illuminate the back glass. These things are super dim. And you can see in my hand, it kind of lights it up, but just barely. I'd like to just get it back factory, and I think all the wiring is still here, like this and this. I think those, I believe that goes through there and plugs into there. So I don't think any of the factory wiring has been messed up. So definitely need a starter, probably need a ballast. I think I saw something about the ballast needs to be updated on these games. There's like a service bulletin. I'm gonna look real quick. So here's that first service bulletin. Basically, this came out way back in the day, 1983. So it's basically saying if you've got the black ballast, which this one does, and it gives a number there, they will provide you with a new one made by a shoemaker at no cost. Should I call them up and ask for it? There's a phone number. I don't think it's gonna ring. Steve might have one. He'd probably, if I tell him I need the updated 8 Ball Deluxe limited edition ballast, he probably knows what I'm talking about. He might know the part number off the top of his head. Not even joking. I think I'm gonna. I wish this is April 1st. I'd call him up and tell him that. I've got to figure out a good April 1st joke for Steve. I'm gonna mess with him. He's probably sharp enough. It won't go very far. But you know, I'm gonna try something. So I was digging around a little further, found another cigarette, French grape. So these are all like sweet, like something a teenager or a young guy might be smoke. I don't know. And they're in the pinball machine, like you'd hide them from somebody, maybe. I don't know. I found these. Those look like screws for an end of stroke switch. Where's the end of stroke switch? Like, you know, like on this one here. Like maybe this one had the similar situation. Those look just like that. I'm not even focusing in on anything you're supposed to see. I guess I could look at the switch matrix. I don't know. Actually, the end of stroke switches would not be in the switch matrix. This one's only got one lane change. No, that's not the lane change. That is the, this doesn't have lane change. That's the end of stroke. Actually, that's the end of stroke switch for both flippers right there. Because that's got 2 end of stroke switches. So that explains that. So this does not have an end of stroke switch. So I have no idea what that goes for. Maybe it goes wherever that other coil went. I don't see another spot for a coil except for this one that's hanging. And that one's done. I'm not even gonna test that. It's done. It's probably the same size as these others, but sometimes those side flippers are not. Oh, it's swollen. So I'll get a new flipper or a new coil, new plunger, new coil stop. I need that little bracket there, whatever that's called. I guess that's it. Yeah, and I'm gonna probably rebuild all these. Actually, let's. There's little to no slop in there. I may just clean those up, put new sleeves in there. There's like almost none, and there's a little bit even brand new ones on this style. Basically what happens is these things get out of round, and I can look at it and see that it's still round. So yeah, I wish I knew where this went. I think maybe somebody already swapped it out. Be my guess. I took off all that nonsense up there. Maybe I'll yank off some of the staples. Pulled the wire down and cut the electrical tape off there. They are soldered. I'm gonna go ahead and desolder those and then snip the wires so I can put on some heat shrink and then resolder them with heat shrink and make it look nice and professional. We got that cleaned up. Pull this out. It's catalog 89G 457. That is the recalled part. So this one, that part should have been taken out in 1983. But partly because it was home use only, or almost home use only, the people never, you know, if it had been the router, he might have got the service bulletin, he might have swapped it, but he, you know, is in somebody's house, so they never got the bulletin. It's not like they had the internet or anything, you know. So I'm gonna get a new one of these, get a starter, put in a fuse, and get a bulb, and I bet we'll have fire. Get some flipper parts, do some more work on the back box, on the boards, and yeah, I'm probably gonna strip this thing down It's not super dirty, but yeah, I'm gonna strip it down. Well, it says not super dirty. It is pretty dirty. It will be brilliant when we're done. It'll be super nice. So I was putting together a list of parts. I came over to check this. I said that was a in a stroke switch for both of them. It's not, because one of them, as you can see there, one of them is normally open. So when that closes, or when the flipper engages, let me put it aside. That one there opens as end of stroke, and the other one, that's basically the flipper switch for the other one, so it engages one. So this one does need an end of stroke switch. So those screws are probably for the end of stroke switch. Oh, there is the bracket. I just said I couldn't find it, but there it is right there. And I got the spring too. So that's very helpful. That's gonna be a hard piece to get. I wonder if that little piece with the, I'm sure Steve has the other piece. He probably has these. Talking about this, the piece with the hole in it that the plunger runs through. I'm gonna pull out these coil stops and look at the plunger and the coil stops, see if those are gonna need to be swapped. They quite possibly. So these coil stops look pretty great. And the plunger, likewise, no burr at all. So that's good. But I do need all new parts for this one here because they're missing. I just pulled this part off right there. It goes in front of that coil. This is an old junk 8-ball Playfield. Not an 8-ball Deluxe, but it's little brother. I think that's the exact same part that I'm missing. Let's see here. Yeah, that's identical. So I've got that. That's gonna work. I've got that bracket. It looks like I've got all the hardware for it. So I have to. Oh, I got to get a switch. I probably got a switch. That's gonna have to be a big, heavy tungsten end of stroke switch. Something looks about like that. I bet I've got something. Yeah, I've got lots of switches, cabinet switches. There's a whole bunch of new ones. Got some used ones. Yeah, I'm good on the switch side of things. So I won't order any of those. There's some more. Slingshot switches. Those are, trying to see if those are high current. Yes, those are high current. Those would work too. Dug around a little further in the back of the cabinet and I found the part I was looking for. It is an identical match. It's like a little cleaner than the other one. Also found the plunger, and I mean, it's almost like new. Nothing wrong with that. So I've got almost everything. I've got the coil stops already. I've got everything except for the coil. I'm gonna put in new bushings here, and I'm gonna swap out that bushing there. You can see this one. There's just like almost no wear. It's nice and round. So get ordering them, Steve, and get after this next week. I just pulled out the Squawk and Talk. It's functional and it's all clean. These caps are old and tired, and I'm going to recap it here real quick. I should have everything for this, I believe. So I'll just take them out one at a time and get swapping. So I'm just putting the negative down here and put a lead across here to the positive side. And I think that's gonna work all right. The Be nice if I had the axial caps, but I'd never have the axial caps. They're hard to get. If you do find them, they're quite expensive. So I'm gonna take out these two. Finished capping this board, get them all done. It's back in here. I'd say it's ready for a smoke test, but I've still got to repin at least, and that one's good. Set that aside, but this bottom one is a total mess. It's 2 pieces and 1 wire's missing. So I got a new connector. Got the schematics out. That's my pin there. So I should be able to figure out what color is missing, or figure out where that weird 1 wire that so it's a red and green stripe. So red is 1, green is 4, so 14 on J4. That should be in pin number 14. I think those are from the top. Yeah, the top pin is number 1. So that green and red, hopefully there's an open spot for 14. I don't see any other 14, so okay. So anyway, I'm gonna get busy, start pinning this. It'll be about 2 seconds for you. So I'm repinning this, and I've got a little bit left here to go. And I'm paying special attention because it's kind of a mess, and there was that 1 wire loose. So I'm going through here and checking on it, and there are more wires in that old connections, all those, than there are listed on the schematics. Like number 5, there's a wire at number 5. There's a wire at number 8. So I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I'm just gonna put it back the way it is here because they're missing from the schematics. I don't really understand that. This is the correct one, 8 Ball Deluxe Limited. So I don't know. I'm gonna put it back the way it was and hope for the best. All right, I finished up the connector, so I'm done pinning this. I've still got to do this one. I went ahead and put it on there. Those are the pins for the cabinet door. So I'm gonna boot it up, do a smoke test of that board, and well, the whole game. You know, see what happens. Always exciting. I'm getting blinks. Oh, I got some sounds.
8 Ball Deluxe, 5 Ball.
And so right away, I would say the sound volume has increased. I didn't even mess with the pots on here. There's 2 pots. Yeah, there's sound volume and speech volume. I didn't even touch those. So just the act of recapping it makes the volume louder, which means the volume is happier now. Soundboard's happier. So it booted. I just started a game.
Chalk up.
So yeah, I'll hit a few switches. At least some of the switches are working. Some of the solenoids are working. It's probably playing. So I think I'm gonna stop for today. My back, I hurt my back the other day, and I never like leaning over these cabinets repinning. It's always troublesome for me. I'll save this one for another day. I'll just go ahead and unplug it. There's no way to not get back to it because I won't be able to start a game like that. Anyway, that's enough for one day on this game. I came in this morning, did that last repin, that last connector. This is what it was looking like. You can really see it. It's green and corroded and nasty. So it's even worse on the inside where it counts. So that board, those two boards are basically almost new, so I didn't mess with them. Been through this board, been through the rectifier board down below. This one's going to be replaced by a new modern one so it can handle the LEDs. So I'm going to pull this aux lamp driver board, and you know, I didn't even think about that. Wonder if I want to get an LED one for that also. On some, yeah, I'm going to have to. I was thinking like for Flash Gordon or like Kiss. Some of them it's just this marquee, like the Kiss labels or the Flash Gordons, and it's kind of like, it kind of is nice having the basically the incandescence in there, because the way it looks is it's better having the kind of slow on, slow off. But on this game, those are feature lights down here. They're not, so they're just like all the others. So definitely I'm gonna have to get one for that also. So, geez, so well, I don't have to work through it. I'm just gonna have to get a new one. I've already I think I've got one of these in the back, but I don't have one of these. So that's another $50 or 60 or something. I don't know what they get for them. Anyway, well, I guess, yeah, I was going to do this, but I guess I won't right now. I'll save it for something else. I did kind of make a decision. I bought a replacement LED bulb that will run on 110 current. So I'm gonna basically rewire down the bottom of the cabinet so that I could put in 110 replacement. Kind of like what I've done up here, all these LED bulbs up here, cut out the ballast, and those are running on 110 directly. So I believe the bulb I ordered will fit in here. We'll find out when I get it. I ordered it on Amazon. So we get that, that'll be here next week. So I just pulled all these displays out. They were working, but I'm gonna check the solder joint from the headers, pins, and I'll take them on a bench and see what they look like. Well, I've scanned these things. That last pin there looks like it might be fractured a little bit, but generally speaking, they're not too awful bad. That last one there, it's also, you can see the fracture on it. But that's the worst of the 5, so not too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and hit them real quick because it won't take very long. I've already got them out. It took longer to get them out than it will to do this, so it's like 2 minutes and these will be done. So I got the displays in there and they're working fine. I just want to show you, got one socket. It's just a janky socket. I'm gonna have to swap it out. And I was gonna tell you, this 8-ball, when I was swapping out all the lights, this one just would not work. I checked the voltage on the 2 leads, I didn't have voltage. Actually, I had the positive voltage, I wasn't getting the ground. The ground comes from this board. I was bragging about how you can swap these out easily. Turns out, based on the schematics, that 8-ball is pin 3, and I wasn't getting the ground cycling going in off right now. So I had one lead on the positive 5 volts or positive 6 volts DC, and I put the other lead on that pin there, and it wasn't on off, on off, on off, like you hear that relay clicking. All the rest of them worked. So I knew it was on the board. So I pulled the board, did a diode test, and it was one of these little tiny ones like that. And it was located right there. So I just got one big glob of slaughter and just slid that surface mount off in about 2 seconds. And then I soldered on a, that wire's in the way. Soldered on a through hole, I want to say through hole, like a boat, through hole SCR, and it's good. So that's, it's great when the designers make these things repairable, because that would have pretty much ruined the board if it wasn't. So so I'm pretty much done LED in this thing, with the exception of the GI lights on the top, and I'll do that when I strip it. And I've got to swap out that one socket. By the way, these sockets on this game, they're horrible. I don't have one exposed, but they're the wedge sockets, and they're the worst of the wedge sockets as far as I'm concerned, this series of Bally's. So they're a real pain to get the bulbs in and out and get them to actually work. Anyway, so I'm gonna swap that bulb out real quick, and then I'll do something else. Well, I figured out my problem. I was unscrewing it, And see that it's just not soldered. The solder broke. So I'm gonna re-solder this. I'm gonna screw it back in so it's held in place. Then I'm gonna re-solder that joint, because that base there, that's where the 5 volts positive or 6 volts positive comes in. So that keeps me from having to put it in a whole new socket. That bulb soldered on there and it's working now. I might have busted that off when I was, because you gotta bend those things out to get the bulb out. So it's probably me. Anyway, this thing is pretty much all done except repairing this this flipper, but I'll do that when I go through the other flippers and basically do all the Playfield work. And I believe I've got all my parts here. I got new plastics. There's my new coil. Just gonna swap that one out. And when you get them from Steve, it comes with the sleeve. And that coil like that, it'll be 15 bucks for Steve. The 3-lugged coils, the 2-lugged are $10, which is like half price everybody else or a lot of places. Anyway, so I'll save the rest of this for another day or so.
Deluxe.
Yeah, I hear you talking. All right, so I got my new bulb for the back box, and this is a 110 LED. No ballast required. In fact, you cannot have a ballast. This thing will blow if you got a ballast. So I'm gonna delete this old ballast, delete the old starter, and I was looking at the directions over here on this one. It needs 110 on both pins on either side. So I don't know if it actually needs it on 110 on both pins or if it's just one pin or the other. I'm assuming it's one or the other, but I don't know. I may just grab the bulb and see if there's continuity between those 2 pins, because if there is, that'd make it a little easier to wire if I only had to supply the power to one side, not both of them. Maybe I'll do that real quick. Actually, I could just read the instructions. If your sockets are shunted, type 1-pin connection is completely fine. Okay, cool. That's gonna make things a lot easier. So I only need to get, there's 4 wires that go. Those 4 there are the 4 that goes to the 2 of them go to one side and 2 go to the other side. And so these 2 come straight from the transformer, and I believe those are 110 coming off, because those goes to the starter and to the ballast. So, and one of those is already going out to that gray one. So that's going to one side, one pin of, or one connector of one side, and the other one comes out. I've got this thing backwards, I think it's like that. Yeah, it's like that. So one goes to the blue and red, and the other one goes to the fuse and comes back out. So what I'm thinking is basically take this one on the other side and tap it in to come back up, cut all these and splice a couple of these together so it comes out to the respective ones. Say if that blue and red one's on the right, then one of the wires that goes to the left. And then the other 2 wires, I can leave them or delete them, but they'll be dead-ended. So that's my plan. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just verify that I have 110 coming in these 2 red wires there. Looks like 60 volts. What the heck? Am I looking at the right ones? Yeah. Oh, I'm on Hertz. I didn't even know that was an option. 125. Yep. Okay, so that's good. So I'm gonna start snipping. I'm gonna snip all these black ones and splice a couple of them together, and we'll go from there. All right, I got those 2 looped together. I'm just gonna shrink that up real quick. Now you kind of see what I've done here. Those 2 reds are the 2 AC line, and one goes out to the blue and red, and the other one comes up through the fuse, comes back out on that one, goes around, loops back up, and comes out on the green and yellow. So the blue and red goes to the right, the green and yellow goes to the left. There's the blue and, whoops, there's the blue and red on that side, and the green and yellow is on that side. So the white and the gray, they're hooked up to nothing now, so that's all right. So I'll probably change that fuse out. I don't know what size it is, but it shouldn't need very much for a LED. So I'll put in like a 1 amp or a half amp or something really small. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I've got 110 over the top of the game. And if I do, then I'm gonna throw that bulb in there. So I just measured the voltage across there. It is 110. So I'm gonna throw this bulb in there and see if it lights up. It blows up in my face. All right, perfect. That is a lot better than what they had before. And it's pretty much stock. Now it's like, it's the way it should be. Before they had the fluorescent, but you know, they didn't have LEDs back then. Gonna have well, we already got the LEDs all down here, so it's like, you know, it's good. I'm gonna put a magic marker. I'm gonna right up here, 110 bulb only, no ballast. So if that bulb dies for whatever reason, that somebody puts in the right bulb. So that's done. So I think that's pretty clear. 110 volt, no ballast. They can read my writing. They can at least see the 110, you know. And I went with the, I don't know if it shows up a camera. It's a pretty warm LED. I'd say very warm. So I think it'll look pretty natural with the back glass in there. So I think I've got pretty much everything done except for shopping this Playfield. Well, that coil I've got to, but I've got all the parts to redo that flipper. But I'm going to redo all the flippers. So about ready to do a teardown on this baby. I'm thinking to myself, this video is getting a little long. So maybe I'll just go ahead and stop this thing here. And I'll do another video for shopping this thing. So if you liked the video, click like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Adios.